Hello everyone, my name is Jason Girdner and I'm the CEO of TECOBI, and thank you for joining this webinar today. I'm going to walk you through how the TECOBI software works, how it helps you convert more leads. I've been in the car business for 20 years helping car dealerships generate leads and work those leads using software. I'm a born salesperson and a full stack software developer, and I've dedicated my entire life to helping car dealers sell more cars. I actually have my lovely wife Scarlett here with us today. She is going to be guiding us through the computer. You're going to get a live demonstration of how the software works, how it keeps your salespeople engaged with customers and on the phone and able to process more leads and sell more cars. So we've got the computer screen up here, and the first thing that I want to do is go over some results, because nothing I say really matters unless it sells cars. So the first thing I want to show is some results for a client of ours and what we've been able to do with Facebook advertising and the software that we use to convert leads into car deals. So what we have on the screen here, if Scarlett will hover a little bit, is an ad report for Bravo Cadillac that shows how much ad spend they've spent. They spent $11,740 on ads since they started with us. It's generated 2,664 leads at $4 a lead, 320 appointments at $37 an appointment, 136 shows at $86 a show, with 65 cars sold at $181 per car. I'd also like to point out 181, we know the national average cost per car sold is about $550, $560, and we're less than half of that with the results that we've generated for this dealership over the past 5 months. The most advertisers in the car business are going after low funnel in-market shoppers, and they're trying to take advantage of customers that were already out looking for a vehicle. Often there's 5 vendors taking credit for that customer. I'd like to point out that the way we advertise on Facebook, this is 100% incremental business. These are not customers that were waking up thinking about purchasing a vehicle. They just got on Facebook, they saw an ad that caught their attention, and we were able to convert them into a car deal. And I'm going to show you the process that we use for that. But the first thing I want to do is let's start with how a lead is generated. So Scarlett, if you would go ahead and click on the Facebook tab up there and scroll down just a little bit so we can see the entire ad. So this is an example of an ad that we run for Bravo Cadillac. It works the exact same way on Facebook as it does on Instagram, and it also is same on desktop and mobile. But it's not really so much the creative that I want you to look at, because the creative is probably one of the easiest things about making an ad. What I want to show you is the conversion process. Most advertisers in the car business use what we call website click ads. So they're creating an ad that sends traffic to your website, and the customer has to go find a form to fill out and submit their information. It's got a very high bounce rate. What we use is called a lead gen ad, and lead gen ads are an easy way to capture a customer's information directly through the social network. So I'm going to show you how a lead's captured. Go ahead and click on Get Offer for me, Scarlett. And that brings up a form, and if you scroll down, because we've got the screen a little enlarged, it brings up a form that's pre-populated with information from the customer's Facebook profile. So this pulls out their name, their cell phone number, and their email address directly from their Facebook profile, so they don't even have to fill out the form. What they're going to do is they're going to click Next, and that brings up a disclaimer that's going to opt them into receiving text messages. So right here we've got a disclaimer, and then any other disclaimer on that offer that we've put out there. And then they would click Submit. I'm not going to have Scarlett do it because I don't want to generate a lead. But if you close that form, I want to show them how quick the 3-step process is. Go ahead and click it one time. Click Next. And then as soon as that customer clicks the Submit button, they're now a lead that we're sending a text message to start a conversation about purchasing a vehicle. So Scarlett, I'm going to have you go back to the TECOBI software. So when I show you this ad report here, this 2,664 leads that we've generated, that's what we consider a lead, is someone who's clicked that form, submitted it 3 times, and we're now starting a text message conversation with them. We've had to build a unique process for converting these leads, and I'll explain why. I want you to look at the lead volume 2,664 leads, and then we've got 65 cars sold. The closing percentage isn't what we'd see from a traditional lead in the car business. Normally leads, dealers are shooting for about 10% on their closing percentages, some of them a little higher, some a little lower. This is 2.5%. So it has one of the lowest cost per car sold, and it's already generated, up here at the top, we can see it's generated $158,000 in front-end gross on $11,740 in ad spend, so we're at a 15x ROI. So it's got a very low cost per car sold and a very high ROI. But the closing percentage isn't what we typically see in the car business. So what this is because it's a mixed funnel shopper. So as I mentioned in the beginning, most dealerships are going after in-market shoppers, people at the bottom of the funnel. We're driving customers all over the funnel. There's customers at the top, in the middle, at the bottom, which is a very large volume of leads. And then the question becomes, how do you convert those leads? How do you have the manpower and the resources to be able to work these leads and be able to extract the car deals out of it without it overwhelming your already overwhelmed staff? Let's face it, salespeople don't really like following processes. They don't like clicking buttons and stuff inside of CRMs. They really just like talking to customers, and if you start to just generate a bunch of mixed funnel customers into your traditional CRM, it's going to bog down your workload, and you're not going to be able to extract the car deals out of it because your team's going to get frustrated with the extra work on those leads. So what we've built is a process and a software solution that uses two fundamental principles to be able to convert these leads. The first one's going to be teamwork. We have a team of people at TECOBI. They're in this building. You're in our conference room right now. They're downstairs. They're called text ninjas. They're kind of like BDC people, but they're not really BDC people. What they're doing is trying to TO customers to your sales team when the customer needs a phone call. We want to really eliminate all the extra busy work and minutia that exist and just keep your salespeople on the phone with customers as much as we can throughout the day. So the text ninjas are doing all the busy work and the minutia of capturing information, getting credit applications, getting trade information, all the different things that you're going to need to communicate with the customer about their vehicle purchase. And then when it comes time and we think we've got a customer that's going to pick up the phone, when they call them, we TO them into the lead, they make a phone call. So teamwork is the first fundamental principle that we use to be able to process through this volume of leads. The second one is text message to follow up. Follow-up in the car business is broken. You all know that follow-up is broken in the car business. I've traveled around the country and visited hundreds of dealerships in every market, every size, and I saw one thing happen over and over and over again. I saw sales managers having meetings, trying to force their team to make 50 phone calls, and then their team going out and sitting at their computer to use a CRM that they don't want to use, and often even faking the process of doing that. The reason being is it's very tedious to go one lead at a time to follow up with customers. You pull up a lead, you call the customer, they don't answer the phone. You pull up another lead, you call a customer, they don't answer the phone. By the 8th or 9th time, your team is deflated. You've basically taken your closer, which is a lion, tried to stick them in a little tiny chair, and made them do busy work that they don't like doing. A lot of dealerships, to solve this problem, have implemented what we call BDC departments, where you pay someone an hourly wage. They're more likely to follow a process. They're going to click all the buttons, complete all the tasks, send all the emails, and all the good things that need to come inside of a CRM. But the problem is now when they pick up the phone, you have one of the lowest experienced salespeople in the dealership on the phone with a customer. And even with 10 BDC people and that many salespeople, you still feel like you're falling behind. Even if you have a good meeting and they all come out and they knock out their 50 calls and they do it, you still know that you're falling behind. So text message eliminates having to have people do the follow-up. We want the system to do the follow-up and keep your people doing what they do best, which is talking to customers. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that process. One of the first things is, let's jump over here, Scarlett, let's go back on the navigation and let's go into blasting. So go back on the navigation. Let's go into blast. Let's go to lead blast, and I want you to pull to refresh. So before I started this conversation, before we started this webinar, I sent what we call a lead blast. So a lead blast is a way to follow up with what we call your working pipeline. And to illustrate the working pipeline, I'm going to have you imagine a ping pong table. On one side of the ping pong table, you've got the dealership. On the other side of the ping pong table, you've got the customer. The way we sell anything is, at its basic form, is question, answer. We're asking the customer a question, they're giving us an answer. So we're hitting this ping pong ball back and forth with the customer. It doesn't matter if they're over text message, phone call, we're saying, what kind of car do you want? I need a truck. Do you have anything to trade in? I've got an F-150. How many miles does it have? 20,000 miles. Do you need financing? Yes, I do. Can you complete this credit application? Here's my credit application. Do you like this value for your trade? No, I don't. Can you come in on Saturday? We're basically asking question and the customer's replying. Often what happens is we ask a question and the customer doesn't reply. For some reason, they turn into a ghost on us. We don't know why they're not replying. They turn into a ghost. I want you to think about it. How many times have you had a customer complete a credit application and then they stop answering the phone? And you're wondering to yourself, why did you give me all your financial information and then not take my phone call? Or how many times have you had a new lead submitted on your website and no one's there when you call them? You're wondering, why did you just submit your information on my website, but you're not answering the phone? So that's the ping pong game. We ask a question, they disappear. 80 to 90% of the work inside of a CRM is following up with people. We're chasing them down. We're trying to see, are you ready to start talking again? Are you ready to start talking again? This dealership, if you go ahead and close that, click the plus sign down here in the bottom right. Skip the presets. And then I want you to hit, scroll down, show advanced options, and then all the way down to the bottom, and keep going all the way. Change that from 12 to 0. Just type 0. So this dealership has about 1,000 customers inside what we call their working pipeline. These are customers that we've hit the question to, we're waiting for them to reply, they have not replied. You would normally have to pay someone to go one customer at a time to follow up with these. I want you to think to yourself, if I told you to follow up with 1,026 customers, how long is that going to take you? How much resource and how much manpower are you going to have to put into following up with 1,000 customers? It's a lot. That's why everyone in the dealership, from BDC to sales, have to make executive decisions. If Gabe isn't interested in buying a car right now and he's not answering my phone call, I have to eventually decide, hey, Gabe's not worth the time to follow up, and I start following up with Scarlett. And we have to make these executive decisions because the workload has become so substantial inside of the CRM, and the minutia of using the CRM is bogging down their day that they end up spending more time using the CRM than actually talking to customers. So now what I want you to imagine is, let's take those 1,000 ping pong balls and let's put them in a tree. What happens is a desk manager comes in, if you scroll all the way back up to the top, he's going to follow up with that entire working pipeline. So imagine you're sitting there, let's say you've got 4 salespeople, it's Monday morning. What they would normally have to do is log into their CRM, go start completing one task at a time, hoping that someone's going to answer the phone ready to talk. Instead of doing that, a desk manager or a manager at the dealership sends a text message out, and in the next 15 to 20 minutes, everyone inside of the working pipeline is now starting to get followed up with. We actually do this on a daily basis. You follow up with the entire working pipeline every single day, and instead of them having to go chase people in the CRM, it then becomes only talking to customers who are ready to talk right now. The customer does not know that it's a mass text message going out. They think an individual followed up with them. So you send re-engagement questions, and if we go back to the list here, Scarlett, go ahead and go back. No, up here. And go back one more. So this is a list of the follow-up that's being done inside of this dealership's leads. They follow up with them almost daily. And if you go ahead and click on the one that was sent yesterday, or the 13th, we sent 489, down here towards the bottom, 489 people got text message based on the filters that were in that follow-up, with almost a 10% reply rate. And the message was, go back up to the top. The message is, do you have time for a quick call to talk about getting into a newer vehicle while keeping your payments about the same? We're trying to get the customer on the phone. We don't want your team to become texters. You don't sell cars over text message. You sell cars over the phone. The goal is to get the customers on the phone. So you're sending out this text message to re-engage the entire pipeline. When the customer says, yes, I'm ready for a phone call, we TO over to your closer. Your closers are just making phone calls to customers that are ready to talk right now instead of randomly chasing people inside of the CRM. So we actually sent a blast before this webinar. Go ahead and close that. And I sent one here to 1,583 people. Go ahead and click it. And I said pretty much the same thing that we sent 2 days ago, and it's already got a 2% reply rate. So go ahead and close that. And they're already starting to work these leads. So if we come into notifications and you pull down on that, let's see if I got some new notifications in there yet. We've got, go ahead and click on Michael's. So this is a lead with Gilbert Garcia. And if you scroll up a little bit, let's keep going. Let's keep going to where we see the blast hit him. Keep going. So right here, this is a lead that came in long ago, was unresponsive, and today we hit him with the message, do you have time for a quick call to talk about getting into a newer vehicle while keeping your payments about the same? Gilbert says, okay. Text message says, awesome, someone's going to be calling you very soon. It got flagged that it needs a phone call. You can see here in the orange bubble that it's flagged that it needs a phone call. Lead got served up to a closer, and he made an outbound phone call, and if you go ahead and click on that, we've got a 3-minute phone call where the closer came in, and I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I can't hear it. Go ahead and hit pause. We basically have a 3-minute phone call where the closer came in, set the appointment for Friday, and now we've got an appointment set. And you do this over and over and over again. This particular account, they have another account with us that's been with us over a year and a half. Their pipeline is about 4,000 people. They typically get a 6 or 7% reply rate. I want you to imagine 200 customers that are now replying, ready to make a phone call to them. Instead of your people chasing customers, it becomes helping customers that are ready to move to the next stage in the process. We don't know why customers stop taking our phone calls. We don't know why they stop replying to our text messages. But they're somewhere in the funnel. They want to eventually buy a car. They're just afraid to pick up the phone and tell a salesperson that they're not interested right now, or they can't purchase a car right now. Like my problem is Scarlett slaps me upside my bald head and says, you can't buy another truck right now. And I don't want to pick up the phone and tell a salesperson, hey, I can't buy a truck because my wife just slapped me upside my bald head. Whatever the reason is, they become unresponsive. We don't know why, and we eventually have to give up on them so we can stay focused on the customers that are looking to buy right now. When you flip that on them, it then becomes a matter of only talking to people. You have a long line of customers that are teed up to make a phone call out to them. So our team of people use this software to work side by side with your team. So if you think of a normal outsourced BDC in the car business, let's say a chat operator, they're usually very inexperienced people that are just trying to capture a name and email address. They're not really good at setting appointments. They don't know much about your dealership, things like that. Most customers know that's happening. In our system, they don't know that's happening. They think it's the dealership they're communicating with. You've got a support team of people that are assisting you at communicating with customers, capturing credit applications, and then TOing that over to someone that's a closer at the dealership. Your closers want to be on the phone. They don't want to be using software. They don't want 10 extra steps in their day. We've made it as simple as 3 easy steps for your closers. 3 easy steps. Because we've been at this for about 5 years. We went through a long learning curve of how do we convert this large volume of leads, how do we combine our team with the dealership's team, and we've tried every different version that we could. And the dealers that failed, Instead of running from them, we asked them what was wrong. We listened to them. We heard their concerns. And we created a solution for that. It's a 3 easy step process. If your salesperson can get a notification on their phone, read a conversation, and make a phone call, we can keep them on the phone all day long with customers that are ready to talk to them. And that's how we're able to process this large volume of leads, is because you don't have to pay someone to sit there in a BDC and make complete task after task after task inside of the CRM. We've replaced 80 to 90% of the work that exists inside of a CRM. It's replaced. Why do it? I'm a salesperson. I'm also a software developer. And I'll tell you, I don't like CRMs. I don't like busy work. I like talking to customers. That's what I like doing. So I built a solution so I don't have to do that busy work. So I can have automation and software follow up with my customers and keep me on the phone with as many customers throughout the day. And that's what we found works. We tried teaching salespeople how to use the software and how to do this themselves, and it just doesn't work. They don't want to use the CRM. They're not going to want to use TECOBI. So what we have is a team of people that are going to do the busy work, that are going to do the minutia, and when it comes time for your closer to make that phone call, we put them on the phone with a customer, and that's how we get the car sold that we get sold. Now that also means we get a follow-up for an extended period of time. So what I want to do is come back to the reports, and let's go back to that Facebook ad report. And scroll down, click on Facebook ad, and scroll down, and let's go to this dealership's first campaign. So at the top, just so you guys know, at the top of this is the entire span that the dealership has been with us. And these are the campaigns that we've created each month: March, April, May, June, July. I want to go into March, and let's look at a campaign that's 4 or 5 months old. And let's take a look over time what we've been able to convert out of these leads by being very persistent with our follow-up and never giving up on a customer. So what we have here is this dealership back in March of 2021, this is about 4 or 5 months ago. They spent $2,750. That generated 750 leads, 116 appointments, 51 people showed up, and 29 cars sold. 29 cars sold at $95 a car. I know some really good car people who've been doing this a long time, and their goal is $250. If they do the best that they could, they're shooting for $250. We're less than half of that. So the question becomes how? If the overall is 181, how does it get down to 95? Let's go ahead and click on this 29 right here. This brings up the month. So if you scroll down a little bit, just show them. These are customers that have purchased cars. These are the date that they purchased a car from these 750 leads that were generated back in March. Because we never give up on following up with customers. We follow up till they buy or die. It doesn't require manpower, so we're able to do that. So if you hover over March, they got 12 car deals out of those leads in the month of March. We continued to follow up with the leads, and if you hover over April, they got 3 more car deals out of those leads that were generated in March. If you hover over May, 8 car deals. And all the way to June, we pulled 6 more car deals out of 4 or 5 month old leads. Are you getting that with anything that you do right now? Is there anything that you're pulling that many car deals, or does your team really have to give up after a week or two because the customer is unresponsive? We see this over and over. We have thousands of clients across the country. We spend millions of dollars on Facebook ads. We generate hundreds of thousands of Facebook leads every day. We know that we can pull car deals out of leads 15 months after they've submitted their information. Every day we have customers that we've followed up with for 15 months that eventually decide, hey, I'm going to reply to this text message, and then they come in that weekend and purchase a car. And that's how we continue to drive down that cost per car sold, down and down and down, and your ROI continues to come up. Since we track everything pretty extensively. I want to show you some other cool stuff. Go ahead and close that for me. So this month, the ad spend was $27.50. We've already got 60 grand in gross from those 29 car deals. I think that's a 20x ROI, approximately. 20x ROI. I'll just say that again, 20x ROI. But how do we get better and better over time? Because I can promise you, your current social marketing company does not do this. There's not anyone in the car business that tracks what I'm about to show you. Let's go ahead and come into the English version of this ad. Let's go ahead and click on the $4.99 down. So I can get granular, and we can actually see the ad, and I can see how much this ad generated at $17.50 in ad spend and $37,000 in gross and 19 car deals at $92 a car. And then I can also come in, if you go back, and go back, and I can look at the Spanish version of this. Come into the Spanish version. And go ahead and click on that. This particular ad, the Spanish version of this ad, I want you to look at this. We've got $1,000 we spent. $1,000. 269 leads, 48 appointments, 25 shows, 13 cars sold at $77 a car. $77 a car. I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen $77 a car. You add in the fact that this is incremental business, it's astronomically low. But let's look at the ROI. Almost $30,000 in gross on $1,000 in ad spend. That's 30 times your investment in ads. 30 times. We do this because we track everything. We know how many leads were generated, how many appointments were set, how many people showed up, and how many people bought a car. These 4 KPIs right here at the top, cost per lead, cost per appointment, cost per show, cost per sold. That's what we care about. What your advertising vendor that you probably have right now cares about is clicks, impressions, reach, nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. They're trying to put together fancy little reports so they can try and make you think that you don't know if you sold cars or not without facing it in the face and saying, what did we actually get? What was the hard ROI from this? And what can we do next month to make our advertising look better? We do this over and over. We solve this problem for Facebook and Instagram advertising. So what happened was, me and Scarlett, my wife, we were working at home. I had an idea for connecting a texting platform to Facebook leads. A bunch of dealers signed up. We thought we hit the lottery. We were like, woohoo, we were working a lot. We were having to set a lot of appointments on our computer, but we thought we hit the lottery. We got an office. We got to about 130 dealerships. Had about 130 dealerships. We thought we were going to be rich. We thought, hey, we solved the problem. And then in the course of 6 months, we lost 100 of those dealerships. 100. We went from 40 employees to 3 employees within our first year. It was devastating. I found myself sitting in an empty office with just my wife and 2 other people, wondering, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I had an Amex card that had $20,000 available on it. And I looked at my wife and I said, honey, I could spend this $20,000 advertising to find more clients, or I can spend this $20,000 and travel out to our clients to find out why they failed, and the dealers that were successful, what were they doing? And I saw the problem. I saw the fact that if we dumped mixed funnel leads into a CRM, it bogged it down and it broke the process. So I realized I had to build a more efficient way of processing leads. And we started working on building that better way of processing leads, of combining teamwork and text message to come up with an efficient way to process a large volume of leads. And we solved the problem for Facebook. We've solved it. There's no one in the car business that's going to be able to show you these numbers. But what we realized is about 2 or 3 years ago, after we solved the problem for Facebook, we decided, let's add leads from other sources. Let's start letting dealers send us leads from other sources. So now dealers send us Cars.com, AutoTrader, Car Guru, website, Ford Direct, you name it. We have hundreds of providers that are sending leads into TECOBI right now for our clients across the country. Hundreds. What I noticed is that this problem exists in all your leads. The way I imagine follow-up works currently in the car business in a traditional CRM is I want you to imagine I'm a customer, I just submitted my information on your website. You pick up your big giant follow-up club and you beat me over the head with your follow-up club over and over and over again for about 3 days. Then, if I don't want to buy a car on your timeline and I'm not answering the phone call, you throw me in the trash and you move to the next customer and you start beating them over the head with the follow-up club. I want you to imagine a world where you come in as a manager and instead of having to scream at everyone to make their follow-up, you push a button in TECOBI to follow up with your pipeline, and then you have 200 customers in line that are ready to talk on the phone right now. Do you have to beat people over the head with the follow-up club anymore? When you have a line of people that are ready to move to the next step in the process? So the problem exists in every form of lead that you get. You know it exists. I promise you, if you're a decision maker in a car dealership and you're responsible for spending money and generating leads, you know you're not getting the proper follow-up. You constantly struggle with, should I get a BDC? Do I force them to make 75 calls a day? What am I going to do? How am I going to follow up? I know there's customers I'm missing, and I promise you there are customers you're missing. A lot of them. A massive number of them. I'd say 75% of the ROI that could come off of leads is wasted. It's just completely wasted. So we play this TO game. The text ninjas are TOing up customers that are ready to talk on the phone, and your closers go, just imagine one of your closers. Imagine a salesperson at your dealership. What percentage of their day is actually spent talking to a customer? With a customer on the phone, talking to them? 5%? 10%? It's Thursday. It's early on Thursday. Go look at your team. See what percentage of their time is actually on the phone with a customer. I promise you, it's not that much. What we're trying to do is flip-flop that and take the most valuable employee for any business, which is a salesperson and a closer, and make 80% of their day actually talking to customers on the phone. Not doing busy work and minutia inside of the CRM. See, technology came out and we thought, oh my God, technology, we can save ourselves so much time. And we started adding features and widgets and this and that and gizmos and buttons and forms and all the different things that you got to complete and notes and tasks and all the things because we thought it was going to make our life easier. And then what really happened was it made our lives harder. Salespeople are not geared for all of those features. I'm not. And I'm a software developer. And I can't imagine your sales guys are, and gals. So that's the 30,000-foot view of what we've done. We now have something we call, I don't know if any previous clients in here, let's go ahead and scroll back up, Scarlett. Go back. Let's go into notifications. Let's go ahead and pull that again. Let's see if we got any other ones. And you can see my team and the closers are tagging me in to the appointments that they're now starting to pick up from the blast that we sent prior to this. And they'll continue to work this for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and pull 20 to 30 appointments out in that hour and a half to 2 hours. As opposed to spending all day trying to go one lead at a time. Let's go ahead and just take a look at another one. Let's go into Michael. Scroll up. Let's go all the way to the top of this lead. This lead came in July 4th. What's today? Today's the 15th. We got, scroll down, instant text message goes out. No, but I have bad credit. Keep going. Been paying for a year. Keep going. Keep going. Where's this conversation fall out? Let's keep going. We're on the 5th. Did some work back and forth. Then the conversation fell off. Keep going, scroll down. Conversation falls off, falls off, falls off. We don't know why. Maybe she had a discussion with her wife or her husband. Is this a female? No, this is Kevin. Maybe his wife slapped his bald head and said, no buying a car. We follow up on the 15th, ask him if he's got some time. He says yes. The system automatically says someone's going to call him, automatically tees this up for a phone call. Closer comes in, picks up the lead, makes his phone call, and if we click on that, we've got 56 seconds. Hold on, scroll down. I think we got a note here. Unpause that, or pause that. Keep going. Keep going. And then there's the real phone number, so let's go ahead and click on that call. So we got a 5-minute phone call. Go ahead and pause it. He obviously set the appointment, changed the name to Kevin from Dottie. Apparently had his wife's number. Now he's got the address. We've got the appointment set. Keep going. Confirmation link, all set for an appointment tomorrow. On a lead that would have normally been lost. This is normally, you have a conversation with someone about credit or whatever it is, they disappear, you follow up for 2-3 days, you guys give up on it. You can't keep up with it. That's the 30,000-foot view of what we do. There's a lot of other features in here, some pretty cool stuff, like if you want to come down to monitor, go ahead and click the monitor. We can see in real time who's on the phone. I can even click on one of these phone calls. And I can listen, whisper, and barge into that phone call to be able to coach and guide our salespeople and provide them the training necessary to be successful. Go ahead and close that. You can see any video conference that's live. You can also see any text message that's being sent out in real time. There's tons of features in here that I promise you, you do not have any advertising vendor that gives you even 1% of what's inside of our software. Not one of them. So that's a little bit about TECOBI. What I want to do is pull it up for questions and answers. Scarlett is going to look through some of the questions if you go ahead up here. So if anyone has any questions, let's go ahead and drop them here. 95 per sold, yep. Mike Warwick, it'd be nice to see you as a customer again, bud. Hit me up, I'll show you a demo. Thomas Eggers. Thomas is the platform director for Niall Maxwell Auto Group, and he uses this process at all of his stores in the San Antonio market. I don't see any real questions here, but if you have some questions, go ahead and go to our website, tecobi.com, click the text us button. One of our salespeople will text you and we can get a more detailed demonstration of what the product does. Since I don't have any questions, we're going to probably call it